This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you, Dinesh. So somebody put message on the WhatsApp group saying that the session has started. Can somebody do that for me?
Dan Kumar.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So yeah, people started joining in. Wonderful. Let me share the screen. I've already started recording the session. Let me share the screen. Let me know when you're able to see the screen, folks. Mm, superb. So where were we? What were we discussing the last time around? Can somebody please quickly tell me, like, what were we discussing the last time around? Anything that you could remember from the last class? I remember we have just started the test, but not with an intention of actually starting the test. Okay, we did that. But other than that, what did
And
we do?
schedule the test. Schedule the test.
Okay. So
Test
schedule the
scheduler.
test. Let's
Yeah.
schedule spelling see. Schedule schedule the test. Okay, so we have done the scheduling of the test. Okay, and anything else that you could remember? Anybody, please unmute yourself and tell me, like, what is that you could remember from the last class? Okay.
Booking the slot, and running it manually.
We're booking the slot. We can do it automatically, wonderful, and also manually. Okay. So we've discussed that. And
And
other
rendezvous
than that,
points.
we were discussing about we have started execution and we have started discussing about the rendezvous point as well. Okay. And we were discussing about the rules of the rendezvous point, rules of RP as a rendezvous point, I would say. Okay. We were discussing about the rules of the rendezvous point. Can we edit can we edit the rules while the execution is happening? Can somebody please tell me? While
Yes.
executing the test, can we modify the rules?
Oh, we can't modify the rules.
That's what we have seen. It's disabled. But before the execution, we can certainly modify. So today we will check that one. And anything else that you remember from the last class? No? Okay. So fine. Uh, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and execute the test. Okay. Whatever the test, any test we'll go ahead and execute. But before executing the test, okay. I did the test. Let's see what are the scripts. Yeah, this is the scripts. Wonderful. So we will go and modify the rules before executing the test. Okay. So you see, I've enabled the rendezvous points, and then you can enable or disable, okay, and see if you can modify it. Okay, I would say 70%. Okay, now the test is running with how many users? 20 users, and you are saying that release when 70% of running users arrive at the rendezvous point, which means that when the rendezvous point will be released or when the users will be released. Okay, when how many users it needs to reach the rendezvous point before it releases. Can somebody tell me? When once I say 70% of the running users, okay, arrive at the rendezvous point, you are releasing. So you are running the test with 20 users. So when it will release, with when how many users have reached the rendezvous point, at what point it will release? Can somebody please answer it?
14 users.
Once the 14 users reaches to that particular point, then it will release the control.
Sure. Okay. Does that have to be that way? No, you can put 100, or by default it will be 100. Okay, but in case if if you have to change it, most of the interviewers, they like to ask this question, not sure why. Okay, but that's what I'm just explaining. Okay, but you wanted to, and 100 is not a safer option, because sometimes it will take like 10 minutes. If the number of users are 1,000 or something like that, it will take like a lot of time, before the users reach the rendezvous point and release it. So people usually put 70%. I've seen a lot of people put 60 to 70%. That is good enough if you ask me. Okay, we may not have to see that all the users, like you're running the login script. Okay, let's say you're running the book flight script with 100 users. You don't want all the 100 users to reach at a particular point to release it. Okay, 40 to 50 should be good enough to get a feel for, like, when multiple users do a particular activity at time. You wanted to understand, that is the whole purpose of rendezvous point. So I think 70% or 60% is good enough. But again, you can talk to your manager. But usually, without even telling the client, this is what I used to do, it's a safer thing to do. Okay, but again, if you want to keep a transparency, that is good as well. And timeout, you can put it as 20 seconds or 15 seconds. By default, they have given you 30 seconds, but you can change it to whatever you want. You can change it to whatever you want. Okay, but before, this is something that you have to do before the test starts. But once the test starts, you will not be able to modify. Okay, modify the policy rules. But yes, the other things like enable the rendezvous points and releasing the users, those are all the things that you can play around while the test is going on. Okay, so that is something that we have discussed in the last class. Okay, discussed in the last class. Okay, so while the test is going on, there is a lot of stuff that we can do, which we have missed out in the last class. So I will go ahead and execute it. But even before that, we have to add the monitors. Okay, but I'll push that to the next class. Okay, because the last class we have executed the scenario and we have seen certain things. So I don't want it to stop it and then go to the monitors and confuse the class. Okay, but we'll go ahead and try to understand a lot of stuff while the test is going on. And then probably tomorrow, day after tomorrow, in the next class, we'll discuss about this, adding the monitors and the SLS. Okay, so far is it clear, guys? So far 19 people in the class. Okay, all of them are good to go. Any questions, please unmute yourself and ask at this point of time. But please pose the questions related to what is going on. Okay, don't ask me some random questions like, what is workload modeling, what is NFR gathering, what is Little's law. Okay, that is little unrelated to what is going on right now. If you ask me any question which is going on right now, okay, I'm more than happy to answer. Okay, even anything related to LRE also, I'm happy. But if you're asking something which is totally unrelated, it will become a little difficult for me to answer, because it will disturb the flow, and there are other 19 people in the class, who came to learn LRE. Okay, so let's stick to that. Okay, wonderful. So there seems to be no questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the test. So let me save the test, and before that, make sure that the validation is passed. So let's go ahead and run the test. So okay, so ideally you have to book the slot, but there are no other users except me, so I need not have to book the slot. So I'll go ahead and calculate the availability and go ahead and click on the run button. Okay, yes, there will be some prep things that will happen before the actual test starts. First, it will initialize and it will bring the controllers, it will activate the controllers and it will pull all the scripts to the LGs. Okay, and then it will connect to the LGs, the controller or the LRE machine will connect to the LGs. So you wanted to see what is the activity going on, you hover over it and it will tell you what is going on. It is checking the disk space, it is launching the controller, starting the controller services. It will tell you what exactly is happening over there. So I wish I could freeze that and show each and everything and explain that to you. But again, you can explore those things. Okay, but if you want me to stop it and then go ahead and run it and show each one of them, I'm happy to do that, guys. So what is that? I don't think that is that important, but somebody is interested, we can definitely do that. What do you say, guys? Let's skip it, or we will go ahead and understand each one what is going on. Unmute, somebody unmute and then speak.
Yeah, Kumar sir, among these four, if any one of it's failing means it won't run the test, right?
It won't run the test, yes.
So that's why we need to go through all what is there in that each block that
Yeah,
would
if
be
it
fine.
fails, then it will tell you what has happened, error, and you can possibly like talk to your admin team to see what is going on. Usually there will be some, generally, like if everything is good, right? Okay, there are only two issues that I've seen, generally. One is the LG connectivity, or LGs, sometimes they are cloud LGs and they are not started, or there's some issue with the connectivity. That's what I've seen, generally the LG problem. Okay. uh, or there is not enough space on the LGs, those kind of issues. Or or you have a lot of results, whenever you run the test there will be a lot of files that will be generated. Okay. And then those will be filling up your what do you say, like, your database, the file repository system. All the files will be stored in your file repository system, so that will be filled up. Okay. So once that is filled up, there will not be enough space, to store. So usually, as a matter of fact, the LRE admins, as a regular, based on your company policies, bi-weekly or monthly, they will go and check the spaces and then see, if something is unnecessary, things are, I mean, too much of space is being utilized or something. It will go talk to that particular project and tell them that, use it carefully. When I said use it carefully, usually what happens is, let me open a script. Okay. So when you go to the RTS, the runtime settings, okay, of your VueGen, in the log settings, they enable everything. Especially when you're running a test, you're not supposed to enable. So a lot of people, especially somebody who's novice or somebody who's new to LoadRunner, they don't understand these small things. That they're not supposed to enable it, because that will fill up the databases. Okay, whether it is you're using it on a controller or LRE, it is the same thing. Okay. So if you go to the log settings, okay, so here you see, you're sending the messages always, and suppose you've put the extended log with advanced trace. That is good if you're troubleshooting some issue in your VueGen. But usually if a script is going from your VueGen to the LRE, which means that there are no issues. Okay. So this is when you will say that, you only send the messages, okay, when there is an issue. Okay. Send the messages always, log when the error occurs. And then you don't want the extended, standard log is good enough, or even though you go to extended, don't say all this. Okay. So these are some small things that you have to keep in mind. Okay. Or you're not 100% sure that, this is the first load test you're running, and then you're not sure how it will work. And usually we do a what do you say, some people, we used to call it as shakedown test. Some people call it as mock test. Some people call it as dry run test, depending on your company. Okay. So you run it with 5 or 6 users, with, for 10 minutes, just to make sure the environment is ready, the scripts are good in LRE, those kind of things. So during that kind of test, probably, like, you can enable these two things and always send the messages. Okay. But once that shakedown test or that dry run test, or what do you call in your companies, guys? We used to call it as shakedown test. I'm sure most of the people are working. Okay. In Dinesh company, they call it as a smoke test. Usually smoke test is used for smoke, or sanity test is used for manual testing. Okay. But yes, if Dinesh, if they are calling it in your company, yeah, it should, I mean, it should be right. Mock run, Madhuri, in her company, she calls them as mock run. We used to call it as shakedown test or dry run test. Okay. Dry run test. So most of the people, they call it as dry run test, I guess so. But yes, Dinesh, I've seen most of some companies calling smoke run as and mock run as well. Okay. So there are some questions shooted by Raghu, but I'll take that later. Okay. So during that test, okay, probably you can keep all this, because more, this will generate lot of log, and all that log eventually goes to your database, right? It has to be stored somewhere, so it is going to your database. Okay. It is going to your file repository system, and it has a limited space, whatever it is, even you are buying 100 gig, 1000 gig, but it has some space, it has a space limitation. So for every bi-weekly or monthly, the admins usually go and take care of it. Okay. So if you go to the admin panel, okay, let me see if I still remember where it is. Okay. So again, this is not something that you will do as a performance tester. Somewhere, I think, site configuration. Okay. So somewhere here, site configuration. Okay. password policy is there, file repository. Okay, somewhere here, yeah, you can see that, there are different projects. The project that we are right now is, where is this project? Okay, the project that we are right now is batch one. Okay, the project that we are right now is batch one. Okay, so you can see batch one, you can just see batch one, or you taken out batch one. So there are other projects as well. I'll take out all the other projects. Okay, so in the batch one, it will tell you, like, how much it is using. You can hover over it, it will tell you like what it is and all that. So basically over here, the admins go and check, what is going on. Okay, so and it will tell you, you see, result set file is like 0.02 GB. Okay, so like this, you can basically, like, figure out like, well, how much is the script size and what is the result size and all that. And then if something is fishy, or you're using way too much, and you think that, they think that, probably, like, you end up using all of it, they will come back and tell you that that's not right. You have to start disabling, and then they'll ask you to start deleting certain files, or they might take care of it. Depending on your company policies, they might delete it. So yeah, because of these issues, it might never initiate. The test will not, the test will error out, the test will stop because of these issues. Okay, so you got to be careful. Again, you will not have access to admin panel unless you are an LRE admin. So if you have an LRE admin, go to site configuration, and it will show you, like, I have three projects, based on it is showing the memory utilization for these three projects. You click on the project, and it will show you, what is it, like, result size, how much it is taking, scripts, how much it is taking, and if you have any attachments, what it is, and it will tell you. Based on that, you can figure out, if there is any issue in that. Yeah, I've deviated, I think Dinesh or somebody asked, I've totally deviated, sorry about that. Okay. Oh, it logged out. Okay, fine, not an issue. Okay, let me log back in. So, Dinesh, is that your question, or I'm just simply answering? I'm assumed that you have asked some question, and then you have asked one question, I assume some other question, and started answering. I mean, is that your question?
No,
I don't know
sir,
if
I
it was.
haven't asked him.
Okay. Sorry, who was it? Who was the one who asked the question, please?
No,
Sorry.
because of the runtime settings, that log size, you went through that. You deviated for that.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, not an issue. So let's come back to this. Okay, so we were starting the test, and we were understanding those four blocks which is initiating, and from there, somebody asked me, why something error out. Okay, so I told you the two possible general reasons why something, test would error out. Okay, but where to look for what also I've told. Anyways, okay, so now while the test is going on, I don't know how long this test is for. Let me quickly check. What is this test ID is 134, right? So how long we have actually scheduled this test? Let me look at this. Let me go to the test scenario. This test is for what? uh 1 hour. Okay, so we have a lot of time actually. So let's go ahead and look at that results. Okay, so okay, we have 1 hour to go through all the things. But the first thing is, okay, you see, I have the test for 1 hour, but when I'm booking, I've booked it only for 30 minutes. I hope you have noticed that. Okay, the test is for 1 hour. Okay, but but I have booking is for only 30 minutes. So you can either prolong or shorten your time slot while the execution is happening. You see, the test is running now. Okay, the actual test is running. For whatever the reason, okay, you have booked the slot less than what you want. Now you wanted to prolong it, or you have booked the slot way too much. Okay, you have booked the slot way too much. Okay, and you wanted to shorten the time slot, you can do both of them. Okay, now you see the remaining time is 1 hour 19 minutes. Earlier the remaining time was maybe 19 minutes, I believe. Okay, now the time slot is increased. So Kumar sir, like, before running the test itself, we usually know how long the test is. Okay, then based on only we book the slot. Why there is a need to prolong the test? Okay, why they gave this option, and why Kumar sir is specifically talking about it, even before exploring those options? Any idea why would you want to prolong it? Actually, it's a long shot. Not many people would know that answer, but I'm still giving it a guess. I mean, I still want you to guess it. That's what my question was. Okay, so it's a long shot. Not many people who might not know it, but I'm just guessing. Somebody who has used LRE might know that answer. To check proper run without issues, that could be a possible reason. Dinesh, any other questions? Sorry, any other answers?
There is a chance of test may getting extended. Because of that, also we can extend the prolong.
That is also a possibility, but not something which
Probably to
happens
check
generally.
the break point, we have to keep
Oh,
increasing the duration.
no, that we are talking about only stress test, and rarely we do a stress test. Okay, so you're talking about one single, test. I'm talking about any test, whether it's a load test or stress test or endurance test, whatever the test it is, you still usually keep 1 hour more. Okay, so I'll tell you
to
what happened.
to attain
Equally
number
true.
of transactions, to attain like the desired number of transactions.
That if you do the workload modeling and add the number of virtual users correctly, automatically it will do it. Okay, but you need not have to continuously monitor it and then make sure it happens, then you stop the test. No, that's not the right answer. Yeah, but good guess, but that's not the right answer. The answer is, once, right now you don't see anything in the results, obviously. Okay, but once you stop the test or the test is stopped, after that, whatever the scheduled time, you will have the results. Okay, for the results to show up, the main thing that you wanted to see is an HTML result. Okay, but that results to show up usually takes time. Okay, it usually takes time. Why, Kumar sir? Why it takes time? Okay, so if you go back and look at that architecture, okay, the test is happening on the LGs. The LGs, let's say there are multiple LGs here. The test is happening here, and then all these results will be sent to the controller. The controller will collate it, which itself will take the time, and then it will send this results to LRE, which in terms, store it in the repository. So all this, when you, as soon as you click on the stop button for the files to transfer, and then all that to happen, it will take good amount of time. Okay, so once you have stopped the test, typically, it will take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even half an hour to 1 hour before the results, or the HTML results shows up, depending upon how long you have run the test. Okay, so for that to happen, you give some time to LRE. So you usually book a slot bigger than what you want, and initially once you understand this, at the later point of time, you will be, however, booking a slot which is bigger than what you need. But in the initial stages of your career, maybe you book exactly the same time, and then you don't have enough time for the results to come in. Then you might have to do that. Okay, then you might have to extend or prolong the time slot. Okay, prolong the time slot. Is this make sense, or have you understood that whatever I was saying, or was it too difficult to load the results? Simple. Okay, the
But
answer
Kumar
is to
sir,
load the results. Okay, but I've explained in terms of architecture. Yeah, Dinesh, what you said is absolutely right. Yeah, there was somebody asking the question. Sorry to cut you out. Please go ahead.
yeah, but this is known, right? Initially itself, while booking, we will book for 1 hour 15 minute or
That's
1 hour 30
That's
minutes, right?
exactly what I'm telling you. Okay, if you're new to LRE, if you're somebody working in controller new to LRE, you might not consider that, and then you might have to prolong the time slot. Okay, but once you're an experienced guy, then right away you book more than, that's what I was talking about. You will book more than what you need. Okay, but again, as some of the people said, you wanted to add more users at the later point of time and extend it, or the results are taking more than the time that you have anticipated. Okay, or the test has failed and you need to rerun the test. That is also something that happens all the time. Okay, maybe your runtime settings were incorrect, or the test data was not properly taken care of. Okay, so those kind of things will happen. So because of that, you might have to rerun the test, so you prolong your time slot. Multiple reasons, but what you said
Yeah,
is absolutely right as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kumar. Actually, when we are trying to run the test, right, then only it will say that it will take last 15 minutes for collating the results. Analysis, collate an analysis when we select while running the
Uh-huh.
test. It will
Okay.
say that the last 15 minutes of the duration is for result analysis and
Result.
Yeah,
Okay,
for generating
okay,
report.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. But fine.
So
Yeah.
when
Anyways,
we
so
yeah
yeah.
when we select 1 hour,
Uh,
at most it will run for 15 minutes, and the remaining
mhm.
10 minutes will be for result analysis for generating that HTML report.
Superb, superb, superb.
Yeah.
But what I have seen is depending upon your configuration of your LRE host and then the LRE servers, it will take
Yeah.
15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and
Yeah.
depending upon how long you have run the test as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Good, good. Okay, so now we will explore the other options. We have discussed about the time slot duration. Okay, so load generators, it will tell you like what all the load generators that you are running. Okay, uh, while the test is going on, I never disconnected or connected the LGs. Okay, not sure why this option is given. Never explored this or never used it. Okay, usually we recommend that while the test is going on, not to play around with the load generators. Anybody while the test is going on, they happen to disconnect, connect, and all that. Maybe if the LGS is going down by itself, probably this window might be useful wherein you select that particular LG and you say connect. Okay, but it didn't happen to me. So any of you have faced this issue, or while the test is going on, why you would need this window? Anybody else used it? Unmute themselves and speak. My gut feeling is, yeah, if while the test is going on, LG usually doesn't go down. Or if you have a cloud LG is some issue and then it is going down, probably on the go you wanted to connect it. Maybe that could be the only reason I can think of. Okay, I can't think of anything else. Okay, but it is giving the option of like adding the load generators on the go as well, which is good. Okay, so yeah. Great. So there is this window and run users. Okay. While the test is going on, I think we have explored this, run users, while the test is going on, if you wanted to add any users, these things we have explored in two classes before, right? Somebody asked me like, how do I add the test while the test is, how do I add the users while the test is going on? So I wanted to add, let's say, 4 users. Okay, sorry, two users for group 1 and two users for, yeah, 2 users for group 3 and then 3 users for group 2. So you wanted to add these users. The test is running, but while the test is running, I wanted to add this. Okay, I can select it and then say apply. All these users will be added. But where these users will be added, can you tell me? Will they go into the running state, or they will be in initialized state, or they will be in the down state? So which state these users will be added, all these new users? Can somebody tell me? Okay, I'm adding the users while the test is going on. Whether they will be added to the down state or pending state, initialized state or ready state, where will these users be added?
Downstate.
Down state, because it clearly says add new users to the down state. Okay, so I'll quickly add, let's say 5 users overall, 1 2 2 5 users, and apply. Okay, and you say close, and then these 5 users will show up here. Okay, my servers are little slow. Okay, typically it takes some time to show up. Yeah, it says here. Okay, now you can go here and then you say, I have only 1 user and I want that to initialize. Okay, click on OK, then it will go to initialize and finally it will go to run. I have 2 users. Okay, so I want 1 users to initialize. So out of these 2 users, one will go to initialize and finally to the ready state. So here also I want all the 2 users to go to initialize. So it will go to initialize and finally to the running state. Okay, finally to the running state. Okay, or you can directly add to the running state, as you want. But ideally you wanted to initialize a user before it goes to the ready mode. Okay, before it goes to the running. Okay, eventually all the users will be running. All the users will be running. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you want certain users to stop, you can say that. Okay, so virtual users pause. Okay, I want like 3 users to stop from this 11 users. Okay, so you can just click on that, and then out of this 11, 3 users gone, so 8 users. Okay, so 8 users will be running. Okay, now rendezvous is also running, right? 7 plus 1, 8 users is running, and 3 users are stopped. Here I want, like, let's say gradual stop. Gradual stop means slowly it will go to exit, pause, and then stop. So I want two users to do a gradual stop. So it will say it will slowly stop. It will not go to stop, immediately. So it will do a gradual stop. Okay, it will do a gradual stop. But here the thing happened so fastly that visually you couldn't see it. Okay, visually you couldn't see it. So you can play around with all that while the test is going on. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, any questions, guys? Any questions? Okay, and there are other options as well that you can play around. Okay, so you can initialize the users from down, run users from the down, running users from the ready. So you can explore all of that. Okay, so there could be some interview questions, or it might be there could be a special circumstances while you're executing the test you might want it to know that you can explore it. Okay, it's pretty simple, it's straightforward. While you're playing around you would be able to see it. Okay, so any questions here, guys? Any questions? Tasha has left, maybe today I'm too fast, is it? Test duration will be same. Test duration will be same, but the TPH that you achieve, the TPS that you achieve will be higher. Okay, because you have added more users. Okay, the duration it will not usually increase. Okay, Krishna, I've answered that question. People are leaving today. I'm talking too fast, guys. No,
No,
sir.
no, no,
Okay,
no.
No, it's
okay,
perfect.
okay. Yeah. So Dinesh, I didn't understood your question. I was not looking at the chat window. So Dinesh, what was the question? Will users added simultaneously? Uh, I didn't understood that question. Or did I answer the question? I think I've answered that question, right, Dinesh? First, it will go to down, and there you decide, like how you wanted to add it. Okay.
Yeah,
Dinesh,
got it, sir.
you got it, na? Okay. I
Yeah,
think I've
yeah,
answered that question.
yeah.
Okay, superb. Okay, so we've explored these two. Okay, let's explore this. This is what my interest is, guys. Okay, so especially if you have enabled the log. Okay, so it will tell you each user. You see how many users with which you are running the test. Okay, how many users you are running the test with? 25 users. Okay, so 25 users, and so 20 active and 5 finished, right? 20 are active and 5 are finished. So each user, the controller, or in here the LRE server will assign an ID. Okay, will assign an ID, and all these IDs typically will be in the DB server. The actual files will be there in the file system repository, but these kind of reference IDs and all that will be there in the DB server. Okay, so every virtual user have an ID. Okay, which the load runner will assign. Okay, those IDs you will be able to see it here. Those IDs will be able to see it here. Out of 25 users, you can see the IDs. Okay, so you can see the IDs. I'm not sure why they have given the same IDs again. Typically, they are not supposed to give the IDs. In the controller, they never used to do that. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, it's starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Oh, this is weird. Okay, in the controller, it never used to happen. Okay, so if I say 1, okay, there are 3. Okay, oh, for each group. Okay, I got it, so there in the controller they never used to do this. Anyways, okay, with the run user ID 1. Okay, there are three users with the user ID 1. One is assigned to group 1, one is assigned to group 2, one is assigned to group 3. So for each group, again they are starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, so now you can see the first user. Okay, it is stopped. Okay, and it has executed the group called S02, and this user came from this LG. Okay, and the overall time that it has executed is 20 minutes. Okay, and same thing for the this virtual user with the virtual user ID. Okay, it has also stopped, and it has executed for 20 minutes 17 seconds, and this user has came from the LG called, this LG, and it is a part of the group which is book flight server. Okay, and then this group, this user is still in the running state. It is executing the register user, and so far it has executed for 25 minutes and still in the running state. So what actually fascinates me is basically you can stop it, you can pause it, and you can do whatever you want with this one single virtual user. But more than that, what is important is you can look at the log. Okay, this is the same log that you use, that you see in your Vusion. Okay, so lot of people who have done lot of performance testing, okay, this log is very very important in the Vusion. Again, this is a Vusion log, guys. Okay, so if you go to the action and you run the test, right, you run the test, you come to this log to see, if there is any error, if the transaction went through fine, or you have done any custom scripting. Okay, you're printing out something, okay, and you have done any custom scripting, all this will be shown in this log. Especially, if a virtual user has failed and you wanted to know why it has failed, okay, you come here and see it. Okay, similarly, in the controller also, if this virtual user is giving lot of errors and you wanted to see what is that error, this is the log that you wanted to come and see, okay, what exactly happened. And if you have created the script very well, you have added the error, error handling is what we call it. Okay, if you have done the error handling well, if you have done the error handling well, okay, which means that it will print out everything. Whenever some error happens, it will print out, okay, it will print out the errors over here. And then you can come over here and see, why there are some transactions which has failed for this particular script executed by this particular virtual user. But for this to happen, you have to do the scripting well, which means that you have to write the piece of code, or you have to do that error handling well. And not only that, you have to enable this log in your RTS. You have to enable this log. Okay, and extended log, you have to enable this log. Okay, or standard log or extended log with parameter substitution, you have to do this, so that you will have enough log that will be printed out while the test is going on or after the test is going on. You can download this log and then probably open it in your notepad plus plus or something like that, wherever you're comfortable. Okay, wherever you're comfortable. And then I am comfortable with notepad plus plus, so I usually open everything in the notepad plus plus. Okay, so this is my notepad plus plus, hang on. Okay, then you can just okay, drag and drop here, and then you will be able to see the log. Okay, and wherever it has failed and all that, if you have added enough information, you can come back here and check if it is the test data issue or something else or something else or something else. Okay, this is very very critical. Okay, why? Because if there are errors, then definitely, okay, the client will not be happy with your test if there are too many errors. Okay, by standard, how many errors are accepted, guys? What percentage of errors are accepted in a test?
2%.
2%.
2%. 2%.
2%. Okay, in my company it is 5%. Okay, in your companies it's 2%. It is good. Okay, they are decreasing this. Okay, when I was doing the performance testing, people were capturing 90 percentile response times. These days 95 percentile response times, right? Okay, errors earlier, we used to have, our companies used to allow, or our clients used to allow, as long as the errors are less than 5%. But now seems like, multiple people said 2%, so I'll go with 2%. Okay, so if it is more than 2%, then basically all these logs that I've spoken about, okay, while the test is going on or after the test is done, okay, these logs will help you. These logs will help you figure out those issues and then fix those issues. Okay, and then come back and rerun the test and make sure the errors doesn't happen. Okay, that is the reason why this is my favorite thing, especially the first load test you do, because the first load test you do, you might not reach this SLA. Okay, which means that it could be more than 2%, which means that you would have to rerun the test. Before rerunning the test, you have to fix those issues. Okay, for fixing the issues, you need the logs. Okay, and this is where you can get the logs. Okay, and before that, you have to do your error handling well in the Vusion, so that the logs will come out, and based on that logs you can fix the issue. And obviously you can stop this. You don't like this user, you can go and stop this automatically, that will be stopped. Or you wanted to pause it for a time, you can pause it, and then afterwards you can run it. So you can do a whole lot. Okay, you can do a whole lot. Okay, and all that. Okay, and then this will be, you wanted to refresh this. Okay, use this button and this pane will be refreshed. Okay, I like this. I like this. Earlier, when I started my performance testing, I didn't know that, on the go I can check the logs and all that. But, later on, I was exploring and all that. I really found this very, very useful. I really found this very, very useful. I'm sure it will do a lot for you as well if you're doing a lot of performance testing and you know the significance of user logs. Okay. I mean, you're manually doing it and you know the significance of user logs. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. And basically, in these three scripts. Okay, any questions before I go to the next one? We'll explore all these three things. Okay, graphs I'll come to the later point, but I would wanted to go to transactions and messages. But before that, any questions over here? We have explored this
Yes, sir.
entire
One
plane,
thing.
guys. Yeah.
Yes, sir. One thing. If you are enabling the logs, it will the response time may high, right? Is it
Why?
true?
No, who said that?
No, it take longer time, right? Uh,
On the controller it will take longer time. It doesn't have anything to do with the application. You see,
okay.
brother,
It's
the logs are being generated over here. This is your application under test. You're capturing the response times for this one. Okay. So we don't have any problem if the logs are generated and all that over here. Yes, your LGs doesn't have the capacity and the virtual, I mean, your LGs or the controller or your LR host doesn't have the capacity and you're fulfilling it. Then there is a lot of load on this and then it might not accurately capture the response times and it might show you the skewed response times. Okay, that might be a possibility. Okay, but necessarily doesn't necessarily is 100% possibility. Okay, only if you don't have the enough capability of your LGs or enough configuration, or if you don't have a powerful machines, maybe that is a possibility, because the LGs itself or the controller, the host itself or the server itself is loaded with a lot of files and all that, and then might affect the response times, but not necessarily 100%. If that is so, then before uploading itself, the LRE guys usually disable it. Okay, but you asked me as a question as if it is known. But do you have you seen that before, or have you seen that thing? By the way, who was asking this question so that I can address them by their
Manoj,
name?
Manoj,
Manoj.
Manoj,
So
sir.
Manoj, you know this for sure that it will affect the response times, or it's just your assumption?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's a difference like 2-3 seconds. There is a
Oh my
difference
God! For
while we are
each
enabling the
transaction,
log.
2-3
Uh,
milliseconds or 2-3 seconds, because the SLA itself is 2 seconds usually.
yes, sir. I observed most of the in API, sir. It's in milliseconds.
Okay, so guys, except Manoj, have you anybody who is working has observed this behavior where you have enabled the log and it will drastically increase the response by 2 seconds? Have anybody has observed that kind of pattern or behavior? Manoj, I'm I'm I'm
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm just curious. I'm asking others. I'm not disregarding you. If that is what you have seen, maybe
No, I
right, but I
understand.
want to hear from,
Yeah,
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 I
yes, sir.
want to hear from others as well. Anybody,
Yes, sir.
Dinesh, or anybody is working?
Yeah, it will give the changes in the response time, not that much, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I have observed, so within the milliseconds. Why? Because the logs will
Millisecond.
affect that utilization details, right? Because of that, it will
Mhm.
give that change as per my.
Okay. Okay. So the two people said probably.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Hello.
Yeah, you are
Sir,
good now.
we were not able to hear you.
Now you're able to hear you. I messed up my headphones. I was
Yes,
just
yes,
moving
yes.
around. Okay. So are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. Sir,
Okay.
I have not, when in Vusion, right? Vusion, when I do it extended log, I have seen the difference in the response time. But I
Vusion, it
haven't.
will Vusion, it will always happen because that's how it is designed. Okay, and then there is something called wasted time as well, which it will show. Okay, somewhere it will show the wasted time as well, which you can. This wasted time is usually for these results, and you have to delete this wasted time from the actual time. But however, in the Vusion, we'll never capture the response times or never take the results from the Vusion, so it doesn't matter. But typically, if there is any wasted time, the LREs or the controllers, they are smart enough to delete this time and show it to you. So that is the reason why when Manoj and others told me, so I was little, little confused. But if they have observed it, that could be true only. Okay, but it should be in the milliseconds. It should not be in the scale of seconds. Okay, but anyways, if that is what your observation, guys, so you have to disable the logs completely and run the test. But for the shakedown test, at least enable the logs, look at the errors, okay, and make sure there are no errors, and then you go ahead and run the test. Okay, that's what I would say. And moreover, Manoj, okay, I'm asking you to enable the log only when the error occurs, not always. So only when the error occurs, you are enabling the log, which means that the log will not be too high. So whatever the behavior that you have said, you might not observe unless you have a lot of errors. Manoj, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Understand.
you understand what I'm saying, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why
While
you say
yeah,
you
it's
enable it
probably
only when
error
the error
will be.
occurs. If you're worried that okay, it will skew
Yeah,
up
yeah.
your results, then you enable that one, not always. Okay, so any other
Yeah,
questions,
perfect.
guys? Manoj, I try to answer, but I beg to differ with you. But if you have seen it with your eyes, definitely, that should be true. So, but I beg to differ with you because the load runner people are smart enough to understand that, and they might, they usually will delete it. But if it is too high, then probably, the servers might be taking up some time, and it might, it might, give you a skewed results, while capturing it. There is a possibility like that. So you enable that. So any other questions before we go to the next thing in this pane? Okay, so that means there are no questions. We have gone through all these options. Okay, and there is an option of view end users. Okay, and it looks like while the test is going on, you can edit the scheduler as well. Okay, this is good. I haven't seen this in performance center or the controller. Okay, so let's explore this part. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time to show up. Okay, hang on, guys. Okay. uh, so while the test is going on, there's a whole lot that you can do. Okay, looks like you can increase the duration as well, not just the number of users. Okay, so I'm not sure why it is taking a lot of time. Okay, hang on. Yeah, it is happening with all of it. My internet could be slow. Hang on, guys, 1 second. It's good. Okay, not sure. My servers could be slow. Okay, so let's wait for some time to this thing to you know um, show up. Okay.
Yes, sir. Nowadays we have observed these things. It's loading slowness while we are running the
Okay. It
runtime
is there in
settings
your
also.
organization as well,
Yes, yes, sir.
even in your
While
organization.
opening the runtime settings, it takes much
Lot
time.
of time. Okay. Okay. Huh. I thought it is my servers, so it could be a glitch in the performance of the performance testing tool. The performance of the performance testing tool is not up to the mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll explore this whenever this shows up. It is not showing up, so there's nothing much I can do. Okay, so you can go to the transactions. Okay, each script has multiple transactions, guys. So there are 3 scripts here, so you can go back to the transactions and see, like, how many transactions we have. Okay, if you have named the transactions well in your script, then you would know which transaction belongs to which script. Okay, I think I'm running for a bigger test. That's why it is taking a lot of time. Usually it doesn't take this much time. Okay, maybe I have a small database and all that, so it is filling up. Okay, so for 1 hour test is way too much because there's 2522 transactions happened. I didn't put anything time, so that kind of, like, slowing up the thing. So let me stop the test. Okay, so I wouldn't say collate and analyze, just say collate. Okay, and then stop the run. Okay, so interesting. We can explore these 2 options as well: add group, add scheduler, and then we can explore these transactions. Okay, monitors, we would have to do it at the later point of time and come back to graphs. Okay, so it is taking a lot of time, guys. So I think I have to go clean up everything and come back fresh. Okay. So yeah, we'll stop the class today here. Okay, because everything it is taking a lot of time. There's no point wasting your time. Okay. Let me go back and check, and tomorrow morning I'll play around to make this, to clean up anything that is required to make this whole thing fast, so that our classes happen smoothly. And then probably, I have to add a lot of think time so that so many transactions doesn't happen. Okay, so that could be the problem as well, and disable the Vugen logs and all that. Okay, so probably tomorrow we'll do that. Okay, so before I close the sessions, any questions, guys? Sorry,
Uh,
wrong window.
I have one question.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. I was reading a question of what Krishna has posed, but I'll take that question, Krishna's question later. Later. Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question, please.
Yeah. If we disable the logging in Vusion, that runtime setting, like I don't want any logs in my during my test. So if any error happens, like if any transaction is failing, will I get that error in this errors tab?
Errors it might come because I haven't checked. Tomorrow we can explore it. Okay, errors will definitely show up, but it's not be a meaningful error, so that you can go dig deep and tell you. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm not really sure if that is. I mean, people usually do that based on the errors. You will get a ballpark idea. Okay, but you will not. You might not get enough information to troubleshoot it. Okay, but yeah, there could be enough info. I mean, if it is happening from the server, you would know it, like, something like a 404 error and all that. You know that it has nothing to do with your script. It is something to do with your server not able to handle the load. So that means that, you can take it easy. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Others here, what is the other question that you have? But who was the person who asked that question? So who was it who asked this
It's me,
question?
Madhuri.
Madhuri. So bring this up tomorrow, Madhuri. Okay, we do a
Yeah.
little experiment with that. Okay, and we will disable the logs and run the test. Okay, so
Yes.
and we will do it. Okay, disable the log, run the test, and see if that errors gives you a meaningful information to actually troubleshoot it. Okay, I'm also
Right.
wanted to see that. Okay, uh, so bring it up tomorrow. Okay, Krishna, what was the question? Krishna's test started after the test started after 30 minutes, suddenly app is not working. Okay, what could be the reason? That the load could be the reason. What else could be the reason? The app is not working, which means that your application is not able to handle the load. That is the only reason. I can't think of any other reason. It got overwhelmed. It is not able to take the load, and it went beyond stress test and it went down. Okay, that could be the possible reason. So Krishna, I have answered that question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see it is still it is still having the issues. Okay, because it's a very big test with with a lot of errors. Tomorrow I'll run a test with maybe one group, and that too with a lot of think time, so that we can focus on learning all the options. Okay, rather than coming out with a real time, something close to real time. Okay, so any other questions before I hang up today?
Kumar sir, you have provided that user credentials to play around with it LRE, right? So I think it's in
Right.
read mode only, right? We couldn't able to add groups or scenarios.
Is it? Okay, let me log out. Okay, so user one, password is Isha Training Solutions. Okay, then you go to the scenario. Okay, are you not able to run the test, edit the test? You're not able to do anything here. Okay, so let me go to the administrator. This is the administrator, and then users. Okay, and this users, let's say user, these are the three users I've added. So I haven't given any admin role, they're active. Okay, but you're not supposed to be an admin as well. So tenant admin, admin viewer, site admin, project admin, you're not supposed to be an admin. Okay, but but these users, okay, assign the projects. So I've assigned all the projects. Okay. Uh, so I have to make this make you an admin so that you play around. Is that what it is? I'm not comfortable making you an admin. Maybe a tenant admin. I think I have to do that. Okay. So I'll try to make you as a tenant admin. Okay. The user one. Okay. Let's see what happens with the user one. Okay. So this is user one. Okay. Log out. Okay. User one. Isha Training Solutions. It. Okay. And then logging in. Now let me go to a scenario. Okay. And now it is still not showing because what could be the reason? Okay, let me create a scenario. Let me see if I will be able to create a scenario. Okay, no, everything is disabled. Oh, for what I have changed, is it for user one I have changed as tenant admin? Okay, but still it is not doing it. Okay.
Have tried with three users. So for three users as well, we couldn't able to see any options to edit that.
Okay, so nothing is happening. It will just allow you to do it, but I just changed you to tenant admin. Okay, so maybe project admin. Okay, I think project admin is what I have to do it. Okay, so now let me refresh it. Okay, so ta-da! Edit test. Yeah, there you go, brother. So you have it now. Okay, so I have to make you as a project admin. Okay, now you're able to.
No.
You can basically edit the test. Okay. Uh, no, still not. Okay. Oh, you can edit the test. Okay. You can edit the test and then you can make some changes, but still it is not allowing you. Let me log out and log back in. Hang on. Okay, let me stop the recording, brother. So this is not required. Okay, let me stop